Hello everybody, my name is Taylor Monson. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my art project here. So we all live here in the 21st century. A lot of us, if not everybody, should know about YouTube. YouTube is an amazing tool that we have to our disposals if you're going to use it right. It can be used as just a mindless tool or a mindless escape from whatever in your day to just sit and watch videos. Or for me, it's a how-to instruction guide on everything and anything that you can possibly think of. I want to focus on this project here and the steps of making it, the prep work, the fine-tuning, and the finishing of the project. So the first thing that you do when you're going to do this kind of a project, one of these epoxy wood boards, you're going to pick your scrap wood and you're going to paint it kind of a base color. I did a black. It was just kind of something to help make all these other colors pop from underneath in case something didn't bleed through. The next thing you're going to want to do is pick out your colors. If you can't think of good colors that you want to use, go get on YouTube. Find a good example. If you want to do something similar to this, go look up epoxy tabletop or epoxy table examples, things like that, and you'll find great tutorials, and this one that I found walked me through how to do something similar to this. So once you've picked your four colors or had somebody on YouTube tell you what four colors to use, you're going to go and get, it's called a two-part epoxy. That part epoxy you're going to mix into 5 separate little containers. You can use red Solo cups, perfectly fine. So the first one, you're going to get a bigger, not a red Solo cup, but just something bigger. I got a painter's bucket kind of deal. It's not very big. It's about that round, about that tall. From there, once you've mixed in your two-part epoxies evenly, you have to make sure you use an even amount or the same amount of both bottle of epoxy. You're going to pour that larger epoxy bottle into 4 different cups. And then from there, you're going to take what's left over in your big jug of epoxy and do a first clear coat over the board. Make sure your board is even and you have a cover over the ground, or else you're going to have a lot of epoxy runoff all over the place, and it's a pain to get up and a pain to clean. Next step, you've picked your 4 colors. You're going to take your 4 spray paint cans and just cover up with a rag the top of your red Solo cup and spray them out until it's about the darkness or the consistency that you want it to be. Sorry, consistency is wrong. Until it's about the right color that you're looking for. And then you keep stirring that up. And then from there, you're just going to take each cup and pour in random dots. There's no rhyme, no reason to it. Just pour random dots, bigger, smaller, however you want to do it. And then let the epoxy sit. Let that kind of spread out. And then you're going to take a denatured alcohol and get the spray, do just a light mist over all that. It's got a really cool effect. You guys will like that. So that's the big first step. From there, you're going to let that dry for about 72 hours. My mistake was I didn't sand through all this. I had a massive bug that landed in my epoxy. I didn't do it in a totally clear, clean environment. And so I had a huge imperfection right over here. And I can still see it now when I get really close and looking at the details. So go through and take a rough grit. I think I did like a 600 grit, sand that down. Just get everything off, get the imperfections off. And then you're going to make your outline, whatever you want to do in the middle. You can do the American flag. You can do the first initial of your last name. I drew out the outline, and then I just put painter's tape all up and down this. This is where waiting that 72 hours is important, because once I took that off, I found I had actual lines in here from the paint. So even after I took that off and I did my spray paint here, you could see each line. The outline itself, pick a color that you'd like for whatever's going on top of the epoxy, and then do a very light coat. You can see right here, I hit it a lot harder than I did all the rest of it. Doesn't really matter. It's just kind of a cool effect, and however you do it, it's going to look good, I promise. The next step that you're going to do is after you've now that you've sanded everything down and you've painted, the next step is to pour the second layer of epoxy, the sealant coat. That's what's going to give everything the cool depth that you're looking for. The reason that you sanded earlier was not only to get out the imperfections, but to have a good grip for the epoxy. Because if you were to leave that flat, pour this second coat on, after a few years, if you left it outside in the sun, wherever, that epoxy is not going to attach. It's like leaving on a second coat like this. But for sanding it, you're letting it form and connect to each other. It's got a lot stronger grip. So that's the basics of it. I encourage you guys to go and play around with something like this. It's a lot of fun. It's a great weekend, couple weekend projects, and just good to get some creative ideas going, and it's a fun thing that you can do if you've got little kids, and just a good way to keep you busy if you're looking for something to do as soon as school's over, of course. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it.